Welcome to Brewers Anonymous Monthly. This is the online recap of the monthly meeting for the Brewers Anonymous Homebrew Club in Orlando, Florida. I am Matt. I am the current vice president of the club, part of the board for 2024, along with Mike, Kenny, Max, and Trevor. And let's get started. We are recapping the meeting that took place on Friday, July 19th, and we've got a lot of things to cover this month. So let's start with the club motto, strength through unity, unity through Zymergy. Cheers, everyone. And of course, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsors once again. Thank you to Home State Brewing Company for hosting us. Thanks to Broken Strings, Tactical Brewing, the American Homebrewers Association, and Communicate 360. We have a new member to welcome to the club. So welcome Arthur Winston, and we have a returning member, Jason Breckling. Jason actually joined us the month before, came in, won, I believe, second place in our IPA Throwdown, and also rejoined, or I should say renewed his membership at the same time. So welcome, everybody. And speaking of those inter-club challenges, our next one is coming up next month in August. We've adjusted it a little bit since the last meeting. Last time we discussed this, it was some very specific lagers, but we've extended the range of lagers through categories 1 through 8, with the exceptions of wheat beers and alt beers, alt beer in category 7 specifically. So that has been broadened a bit for some more entries. So don't forget to bring your lagers to the August meeting if you want to participate in that competition. Also, don't forget to register them. Registration for them is not open at the time of this recording, but it should be open by August 1st. And to register those entries, go to comps.brewersanonymous.org. Following that, we've got 2 more this year left. In October, we're going to do monastic ales, and that is Belgian single, a double, triple, and quad dark strong ales. And then we're going to wrap up in December with our wood-aged beers, and that is any style of beer that was wood-aged. Now, since last meeting, of course, you probably know we had Hot and Humid, and we had a ton of winners. So let's take a look at these as quick as we can. It's a huge list, so congratulations to Justin Heffron and Stephanie Segal with their American Light Lager and German Pils, Christy Hunsworth with an American Lager and an Irish Stout, Clint Shannon with a Munich Helles, Nathan Kramer with a Kolsch, David Moss with a Schwarzbier and an Irish Red Ale, Chris Holloway with a Weissbier and Saison, Louis Curaz with a Wee Heavy, Golden Trevor with a Dark Mild, Mike Thompson for a Tropical Stout, Matt Hunter with a Specialty IPA, Kevin Mernon, American Barley Wine and Belgian Dark Strong Ale, Eric Gomez with a Specialty Wood-Aged Beer, Graciana Miranda with Commercial Specialty Beer, John Sather for a Fruit and Spice Mead, Eric Rodriguez with a Catarina Sour, and an honorable mention Best of Show, Ken McCord for an American IPA, Historical Beer, and a Bronze Best of Show, Ian O'Keefe for an Imperial Stout, and Silver Best of Show, Max Firth with a Specialty Wood-Aged Beer, and Gold Best of Show, JJ Ocampo with a Semi-Sweet Mead, and Silver Best of Show for Mead and Cider, and Bill Carley with an Experimental Mead and Gold Best of Show for Mead and Cider. We've got a lot of highlights of this competition. First, this took place over 3 weekends as far as judging goes and the actual award celebration. It was a ton of work. I want to take a moment here to stop and thank everybody that helped us out, no matter what you did to lend a hand. We got done because of your help. We needed every single bit of help in any regard, judging, stewarding, helping set up, helping coordinate lunch, whatever you did to help out. We literally could not have done it this year without you. So thank you, everyone that helped out. In the end, we had 148 beers to judge, all which were done in plenty of time for the Best of Show judging that we did the morning of the ceremonies. Our club, Brewers Anonymous, we had 33 medals for our club members. We had 5 Best of Show medals. We also had an honorable mention in there. That should actually be on this list, but it wasn't there. So 6 nods towards Best of Show. We had a Best of Show beer sweep. This is the second ever recorded Best of Show beer sweep in Florida circuit history. The first was also by us, Brewers Anonymous, and that was in the 2023 season at Best Florida Beer. It was actually the conclusion of that season. And we did get Heavy Metal Club, giving us 71 circuit points, which put us in a huge position to take the lead in the Florida circuit. It's something we would knew. I'll say this. We knew we'd do well at our own competition. We knew we'd make up some ground, but we not only made up ground, but we have a 25-point lead, which completely changes the idea of where this season can go. We were all but done a few competitions ago, but between nationals, the regional round of nationals, and now Hot and Humid, not only do we have the lead, but we still have 4 competitions ahead of us. They're not easy competitions. Behind us is C.A.S.K. They were the ones in the lead for the longest time this season, and they're going to do just as well as we did in our competition, and that's their home competition, next one, First Coast Cup. They're going to gain ground. They're probably going to come ahead. Then we have Commander C.A.S.K, which was a little bit of a bad timing situation on our part. Somehow everybody involved with reminding the entire club and each other that competitions are coming just somehow missed the opening of this, and we didn't get shut out, but we didn't have as many entries as we could have entered into this. This is, I believe, our lowest entered competition this year. So chances are C.A.S.K is going to increase our lead a little bit there, but we're not done. That's the bright side of this. We still have Sunshine Challenge and Best Florida Beer locally. We're going to talk about those, what we can do to make up ground there for anyone interested in keeping the cup again this year, which has now become seemingly a lot more possible than it was before. We also have national finals coming up. We have 13 entries in the national finals. I think almost all of them are going to be delivered. Maybe 1 or 2 just aren't going to be able to make it because just of the not having the beer for this late in the year. We shall see. But we have 13 possibilities of gaining more points. That's more than C.A.S.K has. I believe they have 2, maybe 3. So this is still extremely doable. In fact, instead of just repeating that, let's look at some facts here. Mike put these together, and it's worth taking a look at. If we can reach that 70-plus entry mark in those last competitions, that's going to put us in a really good position to continue to grow our points, catch up with what I think is going to be the lead C.A.S.K has, and then eventually take it over again, because that's the trend that's been going. Here's the numbers on the screen right now. I won't go through every single cell of this, but I'm kind of just giving you an overall description of what this information is telling us. Both the remaining competitions are 3 entries per brewer. That, of course, limits the brewer themselves to just those 3 entries, but if we get more brewers to max out that number, we're in a much better position. Last year, we completely flooded Best Florida Beer with 87 entries. That may have been the most entries we've put in these past 2 years. We didn't even have 87 entries on our own competition. So we know we have the brewers that can make these numbers happen and really get us towards, bring home a win, an unexpected win. This is I think I've alluded to already without directly saying, this is a change in focus we have not had in the first half of the year. And if you're interested in jumping on that same focus, here's the information. We're obviously not, nor can we require anyone to change their focus. We're just saying the opportunity's there. Here's how we can do it. It's not an impossible task. And for those that want to do it, let's do it. And a little more information here. This is actually pretty important as far as meeting these goals or numbers or whatever you want to call them. Sunshine Challenge, the entry registration date is Sunday, August 18th. Typically, it is in the morning. We will check at midnight just to make sure we're not accidentally shut out of this one to an extent as well. 300 entries. That's down from 400 last year. So this will probably fill up a lot faster than it did last year. So this is not something we can drag our feet on. They're not allowing cans this year, which is a little odd. They were the first club to be progressive and accept cans, and now they're the only competition this year specifically not accepting cans. There is a note in the rules saying they'll be disqualified, so don't enter cans in this one. Don't run that risk. They also note silver, gold, and black caps only on this. If they're going to be sticklers for cans, I would assume they'd be stickler for caps, and make sure your caps match up their rules as well. Don't give any excuse to make a large amount of entries down to a mid amount of entries. The deadline for delivery is Saturday, September 7th. That's a little less than 50 days away as of this recording, with still plenty of time to brew a lot of beers for this competition, a lot of different styles of beers for this competition, I should say. Then, Best Florida Beer, that entry registration is September 16th. That's under 74 days away. That's even more time. They have a 400 entry limit. You may have a little more time to enter, but again, a 3 entry limit per brewer. With this being 400 and being towards the end of the year, there's a chance, can't guarantee it, there is a chance that towards, let's say, a week or two, maybe closer to 2 weeks after opening registration, again, on that's the delivery date after September 16th, They may increase that to 4 or 5, so keep an eye out for that. We do know 3 for sure, though. So that's the number we do know going into this. And that is, by the numbers, what we can do to win this. I can't say easily win this. It's not easily winnable for any club at this point, but we are in a much better position than we were like in this discussion just even a couple months ago. So here it is. Here's the information with it. I'm jumping in best I can. Couple new brews, taking some advice and information and feedback I've gotten on some of my entries that didn't do so well and trying to make them better and do what I can to help make this happen. I'd love to see us get back-to-back cup wins for the circuit. So, all right, that is it on that. So let's move on here. We have some upcoming events that we have information on. First, the Commander C.A.S.K judging dates. If you're interested in judging, getting some practice under your belt, getting some points on your judging record, here's a perfect opportunity for it. C.A.S.K, Commander C.A.S.K, they're going to need judges. Just looking at the schedule, they're going to need it. They're doing one weekend less of judging than we did, and they have 110, actually, 130-ish more entries than we have, and I believe they're in a fairly similar position as us about as far as the amount of members and the amount of judges they have. I'm not entirely sure. It's been, I think since pre-pandemic since I went and judged for them, but with 410 entries a judge, you're going to need help, and there's a perfect opportunity to get experience and your judging experience points. Here's the dates on the screen. I'll just read through them quick. Saturday, August 3rd and 4th, starting 11 a.m. both days, Hell and Blazes Brewing. Then that following weekend, Saturday, the August 10th and Sunday, August 11th. Those sessions start at 11:30 a.m. at Beachfly Brewing. And then one final session, it looks like. I don't know if it's noted for first round or second round specifically, or just anything that needs to be done, at 8:30 a.m. at Front Street Civic Center, followed by the Best of Show at 2 o'clock that same day. That is, both days are Saturday, August 17th, which I believe I failed to mention. And then the ceremony is later that day on August 17th. Along with lagers being the category for our interclub competition next month, we're also doing a lager exchange. And this is very similar to what we do for our 12 beers of Christmas. We get a dozen people together. We make enough beer to make basically 12 cases of mixed beers from our members. And then over the next 12 days, we take a taste, talk about them in Discord. And I think that's really the long and short of it right there. I don't think I need to say much more. Registration for this is open now. The delivery date for those beers is going to be our next meeting. That is Friday, August 16th. The event location we have listed as home state. We are, and we'll talk about this just a little bit, not a whole lot to talk about yet. We may be starting to mix up locations around the area to make options for members to make more meetings by having them held at breweries closer to where people live in this area. We're Central Florida based, but we have a lot of people surrounding what would be the center point of Central Florida, and being able to reach the different sides of the area, north, south, east, west, that would be great. And we're working on it. We may be able to launch that next month, but I that's so early that I can't say. So we're kind of penciling in home state right now for this meeting and for this exchange. We say we are trying to limit it to 12, but I think it's more accurate to say we're trying to get 12 people for this. I think we're really close, actually. I'm not quite sure. It's very close. And if we end up getting more, we'll work out a way that everybody gets to participate in this. But we'd like to have at least 12 people on this. This says no entry limit, but obviously it's going to be, you need at least 12 beers, I would say. I think that's a slip up on our part in this presentation. And this is just, again, this is for sharing and for fun and discussion on Discord. They're not going to be judged. There's no no points awarded to this. So this isn't going to contribute anything to the Brewer of the Year standings. This is just for fun, for sharing, and just have another club project for the year. So for more information on this or to join, check out the details. It's in the Lagerfest thread under the club announcements, I believe, or club events. So search for Lagerfest on our Discord server, and that will lead you to the right place to get more information on this. Updates for upcoming competitions. First, our Beer Train to Commander C.A.S.K. That is going to take place Wednesday, July 24th from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at Rock Pit Brewing. The club driver right now is Dan Morrison with John Sather as a backup. The drop-off location, it's a residential delivery address, so we're not going to post that. Dan and John know where to take these beers. So if you have beers and you haven't sent them out to Commander Saws yet, make sure you get them to Rock Pit so that we get them in time. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the lowest entry rate we have, I think, in any competition this season. So we need every one of those entries to show up. So please do not miss this drop-off. NHC Finals, for anyone that has an entry that needs to get to San Diego, that delivery window opens on the 29th and closes August 9th. So that is roughly opens a week away from when I'm recording this. So don't miss that either. That's a very short window for something that needs to go for us from our point of view. I should say, it's our position on the map. We're about as far away as we can get from it. So that's a short window for us, especially if you're trying to get the least expensive shipping, a ground shipment. You need those extra days. So don't sit on that one either. Get another one. That I guess technically is the lowest entry rate we have, but that's a different way of getting entered into that. So I won't count that as our official lowest entry rate. But again, every entry needs to get there to not only help us out, but help yourself out. Nationals is huge. You don't want to miss the opportunity to get a medal in Nationals. The judging for those final entries is August 17th to August 24th, and we will not know the results until October 10th, which is, I believe, actually after Best Florida Beer's final drop-off. So we really can't sit and wait and see what position we're in to decide if we're going to enter Best Florida Beer, because we won't know. We will not find out what points we've garnered from this until that deadline has come and gone, which is something I don't think we've discussed until now, because I don't think any of us have realized that until now. So we can't let this be the deciding factor whether or not we are going to hammer Best Florida Beer with as many entries as the club possibly can. We need to decide that now and just let the chips fall where they may after that. Man, this is going to be an interesting season. This gets increasingly interesting the more details that come out. It really does. And a final note on that, we've been discussing this off and on all year, is that the NHC medals are worth more club points, but not circuit points. They're still worth the same amount of points circuit-wise. So even though the club points are going to make a huge shift for anyone that wins, as far as the circuit goes, it's still 3 points for first, 2 points for second, 1 point for third. That does not change. First Coast Cup that we discussed, that is the next competition award ceremony that's coming up. Entries obviously closed. I believe at this point that I'm sitting here behind the microphone, all of the first round and second round entries are judged, recorded. Best of Show is probably getting all set up and ready to go. The award ceremony are taking place on Saturday, July 27th. The awards start at 7 p.m. It's at Legacy Ale Works. There are some of us going to this. If you're planning to go, there's a $30 barbecue dinner available. You can get tickets at their website. Just search for C.A.S.K Homebrew Club, and that'll lead you right there. Anyone that wants to make a weekend out of it, there's also a pub crawl option on Friday the 26th, the Friday before the award ceremony. That's also $30 at 6 p.m. After that, we've got Sunshine Challenge. We did talk about this a little bit in kind of our recap and overview of where the season can go, but here's some more details. Entry registration starts Sunday, August 18th. Entry delivery is August 24th to September 7th. The event location is Ivanhoe Park Lager House. If you don't know that name, that is not the Ivanhoe Park Brewing location. This is their new location, which anyone watching this from our club once knew as Deadwards. If you hadn't heard that news yet, that Ivanhoe Park has taken it over and rebranded it the Ivanhoe Park Lager House, there you go. So everyone is pretty familiar with where that is. If not, just reach out to us. We will let you know where it is and when you can drop off in case we don't know what their hours are in this time range. We are, a month out from the delivery entry window opening, and it spans into September. Their hours, they've been in soft opening for a little bit. I believe, I want to say they are in proper opening now, but that might not be true. So we're not sure what their hours are going to be like for sure during that drop off. So if you have any questions, obviously hit us up in Discord. There is there's not yet because it hasn't opened yet, but there will be a Sunshine Challenge thread open for that. And of course, going directly to their website should give us a prompt for information, but we'll find out. That is kind of really the biggest questions. What days are they going to be open? Followed by what time are they going to be open those days they are open. So we'll share that best we can. Award ceremony is going to take place Sunday, October 6th at 1 p.m. There is no beer train for this, obviously, because it is in town. It's the other Orlando club, so everyone's pretty much responsible for getting their beers to the competition themselves, whether it be by hand, delivering by hand themselves, or giving it to one of the club members to take them to us. If you're in a pinch of getting them in time, reach out to almost anybody at the club and we'll get your beers there. We don't want you to miss out on a local competition, which should be easy for everybody to access and get their beers to, just because of some kind of calendar restriction. But we'll take care of that for you. Don't hesitate to ask, is really what it comes down to here. So on that subject of beer trains, we only have one left. We have Best Florida Beer. That is mid-October. It says to be determined, but Kenny has volunteered, schedule permitting. At the meeting there at Home State Live, he did volunteer his efforts to do that. I don't recall if he said, there was a lot of things we talked about that were date specific that he had to check his calendar on for some. This may have been one, but even if Kenny doesn't do it, we'll get somebody, if you're actually interested, just as kind of a backup in case that is the case where Kenny can't take it or something happens. I mean, everyone has unexpected events in their lives. Go ahead and let us know. Don't be shy. Let us know. We will certainly take all the help we can get in anything we do. Festivals are returning. Hopefully, it will not feel like the surface of the sun in Orlando come November, because we got a couple of events that we're already, we've registered for one. You're looking at on the screen right now, Orlando Beer Festival. This is one of the biggest festivals in Orlando. It's our greatest exposure for the club to people in our backyard. This is where we really try to get more people that don't realize what awesome beers you can make on your own interested in the hobby. We always have a huge selection of very unique beers. This is going to be like Hamlin Festival 2.0, I think, this year. And if you're interested, it's Saturday, November 2nd. VIP starts at noon. We'll probably do load-ins between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. It ends at 5 p.m. We'll be out there by 6 by the time we're torn down, even less. I don't understand the physics of this. Somehow it takes hours to set up and it takes minutes to tear down, but we'll be out of that area by 6. It's at Festival Park. If you're interested in volunteering or donating beer or both, see Joe Flatterly or hit him up in Discord. We also have Tom and Dan's Bad at Business Beer Fest. We're not registered yet, but Joe is working on that. It's Saturday, November 23rd. This says VIP starts at noon. I believe it just starts at noon because this is a free beer fest. You think you might have to get a ticket to get in, but it doesn't cost anything. So there is no ticket tier. So I'm thinking it's just a noon start period. Regardless if it's VIP or not, it's a noon start. That's the important number here. No end listed. This is in Sanford. It's in downtown Sanford. I believe a relatively same area as Pints and Paws, so I can't imagine it going past 5, but I don't know. And again, even though registration is still pending, we're still looking for volunteers to work the event and donate beer or both. And again, see Joe Flatterly. He is the festival chair this year, and he's been doing a great job. As usual, everything that we got going on is being tracked in this spreadsheet. This is not a live shot of it. This is a rather old one. What you're interested in seeing, if you want to see the spreadsheet, is that QRC code right there. That will lead you right to the updated spreadsheet. It changes every month at the very least, usually every week as well, because we're finding out things between meetings, of course. So if you're interested in checking that out and following it, there is the code to scan right there. We got some other things outside of those main subjects to talk about quick here. So first, Brewers Anonymous was up in Jacksonville, I guess I better said, last weekend as of this recording, and we were there to primarily help their judging for their competition, First Coast Cup. If you don't know, a literal truckload of their judges came down and got us through that first weekend of Hot N Humid. They got that ball rolling. We would not have been in the position I was saying we were in come best of show earlier in this presentation if they had not come down and helped us. And the least we could do is go help them. We don't have as many judges, but we can stay 2 days and do as many flights. And that's what we did. It was myself, Chris Tracy Rigoni, and John Sather. We stayed the whole weekend, judged the whole weekend. We stayed for their meeting Saturday night. And I cannot express how much fun this was. They have, over these past couple seasons, the back and forth we've had with them in competitions, the helping each other out to get their events done, the hanging out with them at different festivals and different events. It has been so good for, I think, the hobby of Florida beer, because I think we are both like spotlight clubs doing a lot for the hobby in very different ways, but we're always there to help each other out. They've definitely become our brother and sister club in homebrewing, even though they're 2.5 to 3 hours away, depending on where you live down here in Central Florida. We can always count on them for help and vice versa. And I just wanted to take a minute to let everybody know about this relationship that we've cultivated with C.A.S.K over these years, if you weren't aware of it. Their assistance is a very important part of us getting done Hot and Humid specifically, and then other things that are coming down the line too. I think we're going to be helping each other a lot and a lot more, and a lot of things that are going to help continue the hobby in Florida. So that's the long and short of that. This will continue at their award ceremony next week. So if you're interested, I'm planning on going up there. There's going to be a few of us already there. So come on out and which I can guarantee will be a great time with C.A.S.K. I've learned that firsthand over these past couple of years. Okay, the big thing to talk about in this video, in this meeting, was we have officially launched learn.brewersanonymous.org. That is our brand new online e-learning system. If you're familiar with any online classes, the way they're organized and structured and presented, that is exactly what we have built. And here's an example of that front page. We're launching it with our flagship BJCP training program. The first sections of that have now been launched. We will be trickling out more as we go. We'll talk about that in a second here. This is a huge opportunity for the club to gain exposure just about anywhere at this point. And for anyone that wants to help build this system, what's there now is not the only thing that's going to be there. We have room for just about anything you can think of. If you want to do a video or some kind of presentation lesson on decoction mashing, or if you want to do something about let's say you have a grain father, you want to do something about how to use that for the first time, or if you have something to talk about with recipes or water chemistry or whatever, anything you want to share, not only with the club, but with the homebrewing community, really worldwide at this point, we can do this here. How we do that, we'll work that out together. I do not have the perfect answer for every situation yet, but it's something we're going to learn how to do to get everyone that wants to be involved, and get that name of Brewers Anonymous out there in the homebrewing community worldwide. This is something I do not see any other club having right now. I can't say for sure no other club in the world has an e-learning system like this. I have not seen one. It is at learn.brewersanonymous.org. I will say, as of this recording, it does redirect to another site. That's because the host that brewersanonymous.org lives on would not be able to handle this. So it's redirecting to a site that I actually own. So there's a transparency. I own it. There's no monetization to be made here. I'm not saying that because it costs anything. I'm saying that because just to give you that level of trust, I don't collect any information. I already have the club's information being an officer, so I don't need it anyway. But it's a safe site. It will eventually be moved to its proper name here. It will no longer redirect. Within 2 months, we're going to be changing host here. Within 2 months. I can't give you a date because I don't have the dates written down in front of me. But here's another look at, like I said, the e-learning system. You're probably familiar with these to some extent or another. Things are broken down into sections. Sections are broken down into lessons, and a lot of those lessons have quizzes. It's all video-based. The BJCP training program, we talked about this 2 months ago. If you haven't seen the details on that, go back and check out the May Brewers Anonymous Monthly video. It was largely asked to be virtualized, and we are virtualizing as much as we possibly can on it. And we're actually able to do a lot, as you will see. As far as the release goes, it is being trickled out fairly slowly, in a sense that we're releasing content every week, and it's about an hour's worth of content. You can easily sit and do 2 or 3 hours of this kind of content and not get overwhelmed, but we are still building, without having firm numbers, let's say we are 1/3 of our content recorded and edited. So we're releasing as we're continuing to build that content so that we don't hit a gap where there's nothing for months at a time. This way, there'll be something new every week to keep you interested, to kind of, if you want to work out your own schedule where you can fit in an hour a week as we launch this, it makes that a lot easier without any stoppage. That's the thing. We didn't want to start a program that's exciting, it's new, we're learning something and then you don't hear from anyone for 2-3 months, that's really the worst thing we could do. So even though I would like to put out 2 or 3 hours of content, this will make sure we don't have a lull. And once more content is made and edited and loaded, we may release more per week. But right now, we're all new at this. None of us have worked for Udemy or Pluralsight. We don't know what kind of numbers we're looking at as far as views and students and subscribers. So we're taking it one step at a time. And this seemed like a nice pace to start that we can only really increase. Doesn't seem like it's something we'd have to decrease. But here's the information right here. And in fact, if you're listening to the audio version, I'll read it off quick. We launched with the introduction section in section 1, which is BJCP Introduction History. Friday, July 26th, section 2, exams, ranks, and points will be released. Friday, August 2nd, section 3, the judging process, and section 4, score sheets will be released. Friday, August 9th, section 5, the BJCP beer style guidelines will be released. And then Thursday, August 15th, the first style study for category 1 standard American beer will be released. Those names between sections and style studies will make sense once you go through the introduction to the program. We're simultaneously training for the online exam and the online entrance exam, I should say, and the judging and tasting exam, depending on which term you know that by. So the study styles are more focused at that, while the sections of study of information are more at the entrance exam level. Again, it makes probably much more sense if I just let you go check it out instead of me trying to describe what we've already recorded. And then by then we're at the August meeting and we'll see, we'll know I already know what's next, but we'll see if we're going to increase the frequency or the amount of content released at one time by then. And speaking of that meeting, here it is on the screen right now. And I've said that number several times between the Lagerfest and the e-learning system and a few other things, but it's Friday, August 16th. Right now it's penciled in at home state. Again, there's something in the works and it's too early to tell whether that's going to change or not. So make sure, let's see, a couple places you can look. Always, Discord is the fastest communication system we have. So make sure if you're a member of Brewers Anonymous and you're not already on our Discord server, I highly recommend that. The second source of updates for things like this for meetings would be our events page at brewersanonymous.org. And then I'd say the final one after that would probably be Facebook and Instagram. So one of those 4 places will tell us by August 16th, hopefully well before August 16th, for sure, 100% where we're meeting. So sorry to be so up in the air on this, but I didn't want to sit around and leave this recap that's usually within a week of our meeting sit until we had that information. So this is about the only thing I'm not sure about in this presentation. So I would suggest checking back before the Friday or the August meeting, Friday, August 16th, to make sure you're going to the right place. And we will end this with the Brewer of the Year standings for the club. This is the update for the Austin P. Harris Brewer of the Year award standings. And right now in the lead is Mike Thompson with 82 points, Bill Carley with 62 points, and myself with 53 points, with a lot of competition ahead of us, especially with the kind of renewed vigor or whatever. I'm not even sure if I've ever used that word in a sentence before, but the renewed desire to win the cup a second time. We have a lot of entries that I think we're going to be hitting these last competitions, and this is anyone's game. This is not over yet. This is not over yet in any facet, be it our club or the circuit. We are not done. So get out there, get brewing, get those entries in. This has been a fantastic season, and it's all thanks to everybody that's participated. That's what makes these happen. So thank you to those that participated. Thanks to the other clubs that have participated. And on that note, I will thank you all for watching this and hope to see you all at the next meeting, Friday, August 16th.